Welcome to Nice's Word on the Street. I'm Andre Borders, and today I have with me.
London Hassel, and I'm in fifth grade.
And I'm Margaret Simon. I teach first, second, and third here at PS 78.
And today we're going to discuss the events that happened on last month, Black History Month. It was just a wonderful month of celebration. We had so much activity. We started off the month with the Suzu acrobats. Now, did you enjoy them?
Yeah, but I wasn't here this year.
But you've seen them before.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing about it?
When they were stacking the chairs on top of each other and they were standing on top of it.
That was crazy. I watched it and I was watching like, oh my God, they're gonna fall. But it was very, very nice. And those guys are talented. They've been doing it for years. And the students, the faculty, we all love it. They have a great time when they come, and they're real good guys. One of the other things that we did this month, we haven't done it before, and I just thought that it would be a good idea for the students, for every day that we were in school, that somebody would do a reading on a prominent, famous African American, an inventor, could have been an entertainer, and everybody, we had so many kids that had more kids than topics, more kids than days. And they did a wonderful job. And we talked about famous people. We talked about athletes like LeBron. We talked about Kobe Bryant. But we also talked about the first African-American president, Barack Obama. We talked about Ketanji Jackson, the first African-American female judge. And it was important to get regular people that everybody knew. We talked about Harriet Tubman. They talked about and read about Frederick Douglass. But it was very important to get some people that they didn't know. And I'm not talking about just the students, but like people like Miss Simon may or may not have known who created or who invented the guitar.
Who was that?
Offhand, I don't know. But basically, these are the type of things that we wanted to incorporate. And another thing that I thought was important is that we utilize kids from different ethnic backgrounds, because Black history is not just Black history is world history. So we had kids from different faiths, different ethnic backgrounds, and they were volunteering in droves, and we just appreciated that. And they learned a little something. And as a result, and they're going to keep me to this promise, I plan on cooking a nice meal for them and have some traditional African food, and they are looking forward to that. Another thing that happened during the month was a surprise to me. I was minding my business and I got a call to say that I was going to be honored for Black excellence in education, which is so important. So we had an event a couple of weeks ago at Port Richmond High School, and I was celebrated along with a peer of ours, Mr. Nigel Wyatt, and some other teachers, African-American teachers and mentors and professionals, and we just were celebrated. And it was so good because students get to see that education is an important thing, and that's why they put that on the forefront, not just people who are coaches, and I don't knock coaches or anything like that, but education is real important. Don't you think so?
Yes,
Why do you think education is important?
because when you grow up, you got to learn how to count money and how to spell things
That is true. You
and know
can't.
what you're signing.
That's right. That's right. Now, we were blessed with a fantastic Black History program to end the month, complete with singing, dancing. We had our steppers. Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes, I did, but it was a little scary because I was in front of everybody and like a lot of people.
No, I just had a little stage fright.
Yeah.
But you did well because I couldn't tell. Now, somebody that's listening might, we talked about steppers. What is stepping?
Stepping is when you use your feet and your hands.
Is it like a dance?
Yeah.
Is it just a dance? Are you telling people something? What is the point? What is one thing that you say when you're stepping?
Keep your head up.
Keep your head up. What else?
Don't listen about what anybody say, and you can do whatever you want.
There's also something that you guys say. I think it's one
step, one sound.
step, one sound. So you're trying to get that message across in that sound of your stepping and the clapping and your voices, because sound travels very far. So we may not be able to see you, but we can always hear that message that you're sending.
Yes, like using our feet and our hands.
Mm-hmm.
That was very, very good. I love to see that performance every time you guys do it. I try to do it myself, but I don't have the rhythm. Now, that night that just wasn't it. We had the opportunity to dine a traditional African American meal. And one of the things that I got out of it was the families were so excited. A lot of times we have, snacks after we have an event, but to have cornbread, to have collard greens, to have mac and cheese in some of these dishes, and we even had Caribbean dishes. The families felt good. They didn't even want to go home. They just was enjoying the meal, enjoying the atmosphere, and that was the goal, to have fellowship with one another. And it was a great big success. Another thing that the students did is they did a lot of artwork, and some of it is behind me, depicting the different decades, things that happened in those years. We talked about Jackie Robinson breaking the color line in baseball. We talked about Ruby Ridges. We talked about Brown versus Board of Ed. And we talked about the struggle of the 60s. We talked about the liberation, the black liberation of the 70s. We talked about the beginning of hip hop was like in the late 70s, early 80s. And we talked about athletes like Tiger Woods and Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and Serena Williams. These people are role models for our students, and so we discussed them, and we had posters about them, and they even had lessons on their tablets, so anybody could walk in. It was a beautiful exhibit, and everybody could walk in and see. And it gives kids a sense of pride when you celebrate who you are. Because when I was in school, sometimes, there was no big problem, but it wasn't celebrated enough. And so it's important for me to let a child know, no matter who they are, but in particular a black child, let them know that you are somebody. Don't let anybody sell you short, so to speak. And it's important for me to do that, and especially teaching boys, because Margaret, you can attest to this, that sometimes the boys, black boys, are targeted, And so we want to instill in them that sense of pride. So you don't have to succumb to things that are out there in the streets. You can secure, just like London said, her education, because with education, you get good jobs, right? You have money. You look like you're a pretty fancy girl. You're going to want to have a lot of money to buy jewelry like this and get fancy hairdos and stuff like that, right? The only way you can do that is go to school and get good grades. Now, as we are in the month of March, there's a special demographic that we're celebrating. And who is that demographic?
It's Women's History Month.
Women's History Month. You want to elaborate and talk about that?
Well, just like Black History Month was used to celebrate all of the accomplishments of Black Americans throughout the decades. Here at PS 78, we each grade took a decade, and we observed Black excellence. In Women's History Month, it's our time to acknowledge the excellence of women throughout history. Like, we look at Shirley Chisholm. She was one of the first Black women appointed to the House of Representatives for Congress.
Mm-hmm.
but there's even more than that. Madam C.J. Walker was first self-made millionaire.
Yep.
Ketanji Brown, we have Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sonia Sotomayor. They are the first woman of color appointed to the Supreme Court. Beyond that, you had Ruth Bader. Oh my gosh, Ginsburg. There we go. That's her name. One of the first women appointed to the Supreme Court. Just like everything we learned in Black History Month, we know that we know, me and you know, that the things that we can do is 100% because of the women that came before us. So just like we look at Black folk through history, we must also acknowledge the woman through history, because you are who you are because of your mother. She is who she is because of her mother. We are who we are. We are allowed to do the things we do because of the woman that came before us. And that's what this month is to me. What do you think?
I think
It's a hard question. It's not an easy question. Why do you think Women's History Month should be important or should be acknowledged in schools?
so that we can know whatever boys can do, we can do even better.
That's right.
Say that again and say it louder.
So that what boys can do, we can do it even better.
There we go.
We just had a woman that almost won the presidency. And a few years ago, we had another woman that almost won the presidency. We're talking about Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. And sooner or later, I don't know when, but sooner or later it's coming. And there will be a time where we're going to say, instead of Mr. President, we're going to say Madam President. Because I realized in my life, most of the people that helped train me and teach me and were role models were women. Mm-hmm. Grandma, mom, there were certain teachers. I had one teacher in college. This professor, when I was ready to give up, she came to me and said, here's your paper, some paper, and it was all red marks. I said, oh boy. Again, red marks, all these corrections. I said, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. She said, I want you to know something. I said, yes. She said, you're getting it. And you're on the cusp. So I said, I'm on the cusp. He said, yeah, you got it. You just gotta tweak a few things. You can do it. And once she said that, I was motivated. And that professor, she is my friend today because of that. And so it's important that we allow, I wouldn't even like to say the words allow, but women, their role in this world is immeasurable. And sometimes male chauvinists, they don't like that to be a thing. But women are valuable. We need you guys. We need women. I love my mother, I love my wife, I love my daughter, and the students here. One of the things that I do is I make sure that I touch, shake a hand, give a high five, and let somebody know, no matter what color they are, but again, as we're talking about African Americans, to allow them to feel like they can contribute in a great way. London said it best. You can do anything that a guy can do, right? And even better sometimes, right? So you have anything else to say? So you're good? All right, Ms. Simon.
I'm good. I hope that we take time this month to, I don't know, just not just acknowledge them, but acknowledge what they do for us to be where we are, whether in our homes and schools, and even the little things like, do you know the crossing guard? Well, there's a
I don't know
cross-
her name.
But you know who she is. And each time you see her, don't you put a smile on your face? Because she's just so welcoming in the morning. And I think we need to acknowledge not just the big things women do in our lives, but even the small things, like Miss Ella, our wonderful crossing guard. So,
She really is. So that's our show for today. Tune in next time when we come back and discuss another very interesting topic. I'm Andre Borders here with.
London Hassel.
Margaret Simon.
Till next time, take care and bye.
Bye.